Okay, it's decision time. If you saw the last episode, we know that we are deciding between Artisan God Loki and Artisan Iron Spider coming up, and we got Iron Spider right here. We got God Loki right here, and the last episode kind of left on a cliffhanger because I wanted to hear from you guys. I wanted to hear from the viewers. I wanted to hear from the subscribers, kind of hearing from y'all and giving y'all's take on which character belongs in the collection, which one doesn't. Maybe both do, maybe both don't. So we got a lot of great feedback, a lot of great comments. Thank y'all so much for the viewer participation. I really do appreciate it. It really did help me make this decision, and plus, that's part of the fun of the road to Doomsday is kind of the viewer participation as well. So sometimes I'll buy some figures, but sometimes I'll definitely get y'all's input so that way we can make the decision together and kind of go on this journey together. So without any more hesitation, we're going to get right into this, and I'm going to kind of go over my thought process, and then I'm going to tell you what I have decided to do. But first, if you need any of the context leading up into this episode, which is episode 5 of Road to Doomsday, I will link that in the description below. Definitely check out the playlist. Start off with episode 1 so you kind of know everything we're doing with the budget, the rules, everything. I don't want to have to go over that every single episode, but I'll definitely put some graphics up on the screen and stuff like that and put the links in the description so that way if you enjoy this episode and this is the first one you watched, you can continue to watch the series. So we're going to go really quickly here. I'm not going to wait till the end of the episode to announce this because we've got something else I want to talk about in the second half of this episode. But I will say this was a very tough decision. But what made it easier is that there are collector's editions of both of these characters. That made this decision a lot easier than if these were just 2 regular Artisan editions and this was the only way you could get this figure was through the Artisan. Granted, we've already seen this suit in some capacity from Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We've seen it before, and that made it a little bit easier as well. This is the first time we're getting God Loki. But the thing that really went back and forth was weighing out a couple of things. One was the pros and cons for God Loki. Okay, so the pros and cons for God Loki were this. Say I went the Artisan version. I think that this character just lends itself to Artisan. I think his hairstyle lends itself to Artisan. I think this figure looks amazing. I think this could be the look for the character. And we had a few comments like this in the description, not in the description, but in the last video where they were saying that this could definitely be his look in Avengers Doomsday coming up. And again, there's no doubt in my mind that Loki will be involved in Doomsday. Again, sometimes they don't really go over like who's going to be in it. They kind of tease who's going to be in it. But there's no doubt in my mind that Loki will play a factor in some capacity. If this is the costume he wears, it kind of future-proofs that character as well for a Doomsday display. You can kind of have God Loki in a multiverse display. You can have him in a Doomsday display. As I've said before, my definitive Loki would be the 2012 Avengers Loki, where he was the villain in that costume, just because that's my favorite MCU movie. And I really want that figure, I really want that figure. And there's been parts of me that were like, well, maybe I get the new head sculpt, maybe I switch it out, all this different stuff. But the pros for this character is this is a definitive look. This isn't my personal definitive look for the character, but you could argue this is a definitive look for him. Kind of culminates in Loki season 2. Great ending, and just a character that is beloved and kind of has become this anti-hero. So that's definitely a pro, is that it future-proofs this character, and it also leaves a lot of room for, this is this version of Loki. It's God Loki. That's a character that if you only had one Loki, you could probably be happy that this is your version. Some of the cons would be that I think we're going to get more Lokis, and we'll kind of talk about that with Spider-Man as well. And the con also is that there's a collector's edition as well. So that's the thing, is like, do I want to pay Artisan prices? This is $445 for the Artisan. Collector's edition, you get everything else except for that Artisan hair for $290. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I paying, upwards of $150+ for Artisan? Now, we've talked about it in the past episodes. The Artisan characters tend to hold their value a little bit better. But man, honestly, I don't really sell a lot of figures, which I'm going to have to actually do on the road to Doomsday so we can get more budget to buy more stuff for the Marvel display. But I think that when I'm looking at this character and I'm looking at the hairstyles, look, the Artisan would be cool. It's limited to 2,500. I'm a collector. That kind of appeals to me. I think the hairstyle is going to look awesome. I think they're going to do a great job with it. But do I think the collector's edition is going to be like a huge step down? Not really. I mean, you kind of saw that with the Jack Sparrow when they've released Artisans and also gave you a collector's edition. You're not missing a ton with if you just want to do sculpted. And the more I think about stuff, like sculpted is an okay option for me. I think it, I'm less nervous about it holding up over time just because I have never had a bunch of artisan figures for a long period of time. So I'm kind of wanting to see how well the hair stays in place, all the different stuff. So there's that for Loki. Okay. Now we got Iron Spider. The number one pro for this character is that this character means a lot to me. This version of this character means a lot to me because of his role in Infinity War and Endgame. So every time I look at this suit, I think of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in those movies, in the hype for those movies, just over and over and over again. It's just been a great, memory that I have. And that's kind of what I want my display to be, is kind of represent like that great time of the MCU. But then the other half of me wants to build out and kind of, start leading into Avengers Doomsday and build a potential, eventually build a great Doomsday display as well, just in case that movie lives up to the hype and surprises a lot of people and ends up being amazing. Not saying that it can't be good, but that movie's going to have to be like amazing, I feel like, for it to live up to the hype. I don't know if anything's ever going to touch the hype for an Infinity War and Endgame, but if Doomsday comes out and does a great job, that's just going to be a cool thing to have on your shelf. Having different phases of the MCU in your display, that would take a lot of time to build, but that's something, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it for the long game, So that's appealing to me. The thing I'm less excited about, this is 3,500, so it's not as rare as the Loki. Loki's the 2,500, this is 3,500. That's really not that big of a deal to me in general. But the Artisan Air, I would personally have it looking like this in the display, especially if I got the Artisan. But when you look at the collector's edition, $120 less, and this sculpted hair looks really good. Plus, I already have a red and blue suit, Tom Holland Spider-Man. Plus, we're going to get some more Spider-Man figures with Brand New Day. We're going to get so many Tom Holland Spider-Man figures, whether they go back to old figures, old movies, or whether they do new stuff starting with Brand New Day. We're just going to continue to get this character. And this is not my favorite suit, but it holds a special place in my heart because of his place in the MCU. In fact, in the MCU, like this is the character I would want. I would want his appearances in Infinity War, in Endgame, maybe even in Civil War. Like those movies really stick out to like where I want the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So we got to just keep asking ourselves, is the Artisan worth it when you can get a collector's edition? Do I care enough about the Artisan? Now, this is not the same situation as with the Winter Soldier or with Moon Knight, which is to get that version of that character, you have to just get the Artisan version. There wasn't a collector's version to go along with that. These two, on the other hand, have those collector's versions, and we're all about budget. We're all about trying to stay within budget. We're all about trying to collect smart, not buying into FOMO, and trying to figure out what the best path is for our Marvel collection, our Marvel display going forward. Road to Doomsday, that's what it's all about. So we are in a fork in the road right now because we have to decide between these two figures. But the thing I can tell you right now, and we'll get this out of the way, and this is part of the decision, we're going to go ahead and cancel the Artisan Edition Avengers Endgame Iron Spider. We're going to cancel the Artisan Edition. $460 for this figure, that's a lot of money. And even though I can pay it off over 8 months, we're going to cancel this. But we're going to wait until this figure potentially gets pushed back. Because if I cancel it right now, I'm just going to lose that $46 NRD. I'm going to hold off and be patient with this. So my plans are to cancel this figure, but I'm going to wait until potentially it seems like this figure is going to get pushed back a little bit. And if it does, then I would get my NRD back. So I'm waiting on that because I want to be able to get that NRD back and put that $46 into our budget, which I can't put into the budget until I actually cancel the order. But I just wanted to tell y'all that's the decision I have made personally, is to go ahead and cancel this Artisan Edition Iron Spider. Are we going to get the collector's edition? This is a very, very good possibility that I go ahead and switch gears over into the collector's edition. And if I do that, then $46 becomes $34. We'll work out all the math later on when I actually decide to do that. But that is the play I'm thinking about doing. I might even play the long game and just wait and see how this figure turns out before I commit to it. By the time this figure actually comes out, Brand New Day will be close to coming out in theaters, so maybe I'll wait for that. But this does appeal to me that I could get the Avengers Endgame Spider-Man. Like I said, I wasn't collecting Hot Toys when the hype for Infinity War and Endgame came out. If I was, that'd be probably my entire collection would be just all those characters. So it's a very interesting time that I came in to collecting Hot Toys after those figures got announced and released. And so this is interesting to me. This is stuff I'm really liking, is earlier phase MCU 2.0, stuff that I missed out on, stuff that I wasn't collecting at the time. So there's a potential that I get the collector's edition, but we can go ahead and say that we are canceling the Artisan Edition when in fact we're going to be able to get that NRD back, but we can't add that to the budget until that actually happens. Now let's switch over to God Loki, okay? Because you're thinking, well, he's going to pick the Artisan Loki. I mean, show's over, right? Keep in mind, we're going over something else after this decision, but I wanted to go ahead and give y'all that because I didn't want to wait until the very end of the episode. But I have a lot to say about this because this is a big decision. This is the thought process that goes into our minds when we're trying to figure out this stuff. So the other thing I wanted to do is this. $290 to $445. There is absolutely going to be Artisan MCU figures that come out that I am going to have, that I will have to have it. The Winter Soldier 2.0 that came out, I was lucky enough to get that waitlist converted, and I was able to pick that up. There was no sculpted option. If there would have been a sculpted option, maybe that's one that I don't feel the need to get the Artisan. But that character, you know, the 10-year anniversary of Winter Soldier, just one of the best MCU movies of all time. That version of the character, just amazing. I have to have that character in the collection. Moon Knight's a perfect example of, like, I don't know if we're going to get another Oscar Isaac Moon Knight. I don't even know if we're going to get a season 2 of Moon Knight. You know, I really liked season 1, but are we ever going to get another Moon Knight? That is only an Artisan version. Yes, they have a Mr. Knight that you can get. You can kind of do some stuff with that. But that's a figure that I feel like I have to have at this point. Now, do I have to have that as much as I need the Winter Soldier? Absolutely not. The Winter Soldier is a 100%, like, gotta have it. So down the line, I'm anticipating more of that stuff. I mean, we're going to get Artisan Iron Man. I mean, eventually we're going to do that. We're going to eventually get Artisan Thor. They made an Artisan Black Widow from Iron Man 2, okay? And not to knock on Iron Man 2, because I actually enjoy Iron Man 2. I don't think it's one of the best MCU movies, but I mean, it's a fun time at the movies. But they went back and did that character from Iron Man 2, just randomly. We're for sure going to be getting more of that core group of Avengers in Artisan version. There's no doubt in my mind. If nothing else, we're going to be getting 2.0s. So knowing that and anticipating that, we got to save money where we can. God Loki, as much as I liked the Loki series, I really did enjoy the Loki series. When I think of Loki as a character, you know, he did a great job in the series, and that is a great arc that he had. But that was a Disney Plus series. When I think of Loki, I think of the big screen. I think of the anticipation for the Avengers. I think of him in Thor the Dark World. I think of him in Ragnarok. I think of him with Thor and everything. So when I think about that character, that's kind of the character I want in. I would love to have God Loki. I'm potentially going to still keep God Loki. But I can tell you right now that the decision is more than likely, and you can see how hard it is for me to even say this, the fact that I could save $44 on this NRD because this already got pushed back. So if I cancel this today, I get $44 back that we can use towards something else. And we could even use it towards the collector's edition, which would be a $29 NRD. Now, it's waitlisted on Sideshow, but there's other places that I could pre-order this. $290 as opposed to $440 saves us $150 over time. Just like with the Iron Spider, $460 to $340 saves us $120 over time. So Loki is even a bigger savings. And limited edition $2,500, that really stinks. That really hurts to let that go. So what I'm going to do is this. I am going to be patient with this one, and I'm going to wait to see what this looks like, because I canceled the Black Widow, and there was a lot of regret there. I'm going to wait to see what this looks like. I'm going to wait to see this come out. And then if I don't like the way it looks, or I do love the way it looks, but the collector's edition looks just as good to me, I'm going to just switch and probably pick up the collector's edition. There is a potential that I go ahead and just cancel this outright like I did with Iron Spider. So basically the decision is this. I'm leaning towards canceling both, but I'm for sure not going to be getting the Iron Spider Artisan Edition. So that was the decision. I basically picked that route where I'm canceling that when I'm able to get the NRD back. With God Loki, there is a very high probability then I'm going to cancel the Artisan God Loki. The only reason I'm not fully committing to that yet is I want to see what the collector's edition looks like. And I don't want to overstate, like, okay, I canceled God Loki, and then it comes out and I'm like, oh, actually I didn't, so I want to be transparent. And a decision was made that we're not going to be going with the Artisan Iron Spider anymore. And I don't even know if we're going to be going with the Artisan God Loki, but I want to be patient with that decision. I still have time. And as soon as I cancel that pre-order, we're going to get $44 back into the budget. So as soon as I find something that I really need or really want, or they make an announcement that I want to switch over, we're going to be able to get that 44 back. So I'm kind of being patient on that. And once that happens in a future episode, I will let you know. So our decision is this. We are canceling the Artisan Edition Iron Spider, and we're pending on Artisan God Loki right now. But the decision is to cancel Artisan Iron Spider when I'm able to get that NRD back. That'll add $46 to our budget, which is a big deal. And so that's our decision there. So let me know in the comments below if you think I've made the right decision. Let me know what you would ultimately do. Would you stick with Collector's Edition God Loki, or would you stick with the Artisan Edition? Would you be fine with the Collector's Edition? Or do you think I should go ahead and just cancel it outright, not even worry about this character, and go a different direction for my Loki? It's all going to depend on a bunch of different variables, but I do want this version of the character in the collection. I'm just trying to be patient with the decision on Artisan or Collectors, but we can go ahead and make our decision that this PO still stands. The Artisan one does not. As soon as I'm able to get this NRD back, we will be canceling that and adding $46 of NRD back into our budget. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is right now, Sideshow is running the free figure offer. Sideshow's Black Friday begins early with a free figure deal. Starting November 10th, you can score a free 6-scale figure on qualifying in-stock purchases. If you spend $300 or more, you'll be eligible to choose between two figures, which is the Tony Stark mech suit from Iron Man 1 and the Quill from Mandalorian. And then if you spend $450 or more, you'll be able to choose from one of 4 bonus gifts, which you can see right here. It is like the Iron Man like tech suit, I forget what that's called, and then the Boba Fett with throne. This is, it says, did it say something where it's going to like rotate or something? The bonus figures on offer will change each week, so check back often and fuel your fandom with this can't miss deal. So here's the thing. I've already set the filters out. We're going to take a look at this and just decide if this is a good idea. I can tell you right now, I already have plenty of Iron Man. There's no figures that appeal to me in this free figure offer right now. But if something does show up later that is Marvel, then I'm able to get a free figure, a free Marvel figure that's going to fit into our display, our Road to Doomsday mission, trying to figure out if that's going to fit into our big Marvel display, then we definitely could do that. And these are the figures that qualify. So if we bought these figures, we'd be able to get, and we meet that threshold, we'd be able to potentially get a Marvel figure for free, an MCU figure for free, and we could honestly do that right now with this Iron Man figure. I like the figure, I just don't need it. I already got 2 Iron Man figures. Okay, this Loki that we've been talking about a bunch, I don't love the price here. I've seen him cheaper at other places, but this is a version of the character that we always talk about that I really want. So that goes into the decision with that God Loki. Do I go with this Loki? You got the Iron Man, the battle damaged Iron Man, which is just a huge culmination, but I've seen this cheaper elsewhere, so we'd go a different route there. We got the Spider-Man battling version. We have Mysterio's Iron Man illusion. We have the Tony Stark mech test deluxe version. Iron Man deluxe. We got the Black Widow, but I don't love the snowsuit. We have the Tony Stark markup suit up version, which is amazing, but again, with all the other characters we still don't have. I have 2 Tony Starks right now. I have 2 Iron Man figures that I'm really happy with, so I'm good there. Shang-Chi. We've talked about Shang-Chi in other episodes. He's at $255 here with $10 shipping, but I've seen him at way cheaper than this elsewhere, so we got to stay away from this. Venom. Again, if they had another Marvel figure that I could get for free right now that would fit really into the MCU display, Venom would definitely meet the threshold with $445, but honestly, I like Venom. I like I think the movies are decent with Tom Hardy, but I'd probably pass on that one. This is where it gets, the Neon Tech War Machine is the other one you get for free, but I have no desire to get that figure. Right here is the Doctor Strange from, I believe this is No Way Home. if this was the version from Multiverse of Madness, I'd be jumping on this. I'd be buying this right now and probably just getting the mech suit, or I'd probably just grab the Boba Fett with Throne. But again, these free figures, they're just trying to get rid of dead stock. If you've kind of followed Sideshow before, you kind of know that they're going to be rotating. It's going to be figures that that are sitting on their shelves. I will say this year, there's a lot of good figures that are still in stock that you can get. There's a lot of good Star Wars ones and stuff like that we'll look into. But right now with Marvel Cinematic Universe, this Doctor Strange really appeals to me if it would have been that Multiverse of Madness one, but it's not. So we're going to move on. Tons of Iron Man to get. So if you're just getting into collecting, this is a great way to get some figures to start your collection, because again, say that you're a huge Iron Man fan and you're going to buy an Iron Man anyway. Some of these are good deals. You can probably find them cheaper elsewhere, but there's a couple of really good deals here. Plus, you're going to get that free mech suit Tony Stark, which is a really good one because you can have an Iron Man in suit and then you can have the Tony Stark to go with it. It'd look really cool. This is the one that I was looking at. So this Shuri Black Panther here, again, if there was a better free figure, I would definitely be looking into this. This is almost gone. This would be $269. I would love to get this version, but I still don't have the T'Challa Black Panther yet, and I feel like I got to prioritize getting T'Challa first. Even though that this version of the character Shuri will be in Doomsday, I got to get that that Chadwick Boseman. I got to get that T'Challa Black Panther first, I feel like. But that is one that definitely intrigues me, is that Shuri Black Panther. And then you got Thor from Endgame, which they're just trying to give this figure away. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a free figure that you can get. If this ends up being one of the free figures you can get, even though I'm totally going to be buying a different Thor. Like, Thor's a character that I could have multiples of and be totally happy with. If this becomes the free figure, then I could definitely see myself taking advantage. If I could get this for free, I would end up buying something else to get this potentially for free, and then I have a Thor in the collection. It is in-game Thor. I'd really want to get either, I'd personally love to get that 2012 Avengers Thor. I'll go back and get Infinity War Thor. There's probably going to be a Doomsday Thor. So again, but if this was free, this would be hard to pass up because I love Thor. And that would just be a great figure to have. It's a great figure. It's just I think they overproduced a lot of them. And then you can just kind of see more Iron Man here. Vision's an interesting character. Again, I've seen this one just so much cheaper. And that's the thing. If Sideshow would have kept these at their like normal like percentage off, because these figures are always like 30 to 40% off, it would make more sense. They want you to buy them. You know how it is. I mean, it's sales. It's the holiday sales season. They're going to make stuff look like it's a better deal than it actually is. Which, by the way, this is still a good deal. Like, if you're going to buy this figure anyway, but don't just buy this figure because you're going to get something free. Only do it if, and I mean, again, collect how you want to collect. But I'm only going to do it if it's really a character that I don't have that I really wanted, and that's for free. Then I'll justify getting a figure that I kind of wanted, and now I can get two for the price of one, basically. Cable's one that we've talked about in the past. Like, this is a character I don't think they'll ever do again, the Josh Brolin version. But again, I've seen this way cheaper. Like, this is $275, but I've seen it cheaper other places. And there's nothing right now that's a free figure that I really want enough to buy one of these. And I don't think we're going to be in danger of any of these selling out anytime soon. You got Carnage here at $515, just can't do it. Winter Soldier from the Falcon and Winter Soldier. If this was a better looking figure, I would get it. I wasn't a real big fan of Bucky in the Winter Soldier series. Not probably my least favorite version of the character that they put on screen in anything. And so I'm going to pass there. Taskmaster is interesting because this could technically work in our new Avengers display, even though obviously if you've seen Thunderbolts, you know what happens there. But, so it wouldn't work in a new Avengers display. It could work in a Thunderbolts display, and then we have Stealth Suit, we have Infinity Ultron, which I would love if we could get a 2.0 of Ultron. Like, I would love that. I would definitely be getting that. We got Sylvie at $275, but I've seen this cheaper elsewhere. Steve Rogers and the Hydra Stomp, if you like, the animated stuff. Iron Man Mark 1 at $460 is just too much right now, especially with us getting a bunch of other characters. Mighty Thor at $310, just don't really have interest in having this character, even though the figure looks really good. Classic Loki, almost gone. Tony Stark team suit at $240. I've seen this figure as low as like $100. So not a great deal there. Thena, like, from the Eternals, just not, personally not for me. And then we have Captain Carter, waitlist open. So Captain Carter, waitlist open. I think that's the first one that I've seen like go waitlist. So people must have been waiting for that one. And that's waitlisted. I definitely think Shuri Black Panther will follow, so we will not have an opportunity to get that next week. But let's just play the anticipation game. Say next week we get like another Marvel figure that we can get for free by purchasing one of these. And let's say that these stay the same. I'm definitely going to be looking at Shang-Chi. Even though I see him cheaper other places, if I'm able to get a free figure that's normally like $150 elsewhere, I might be able to do it. Doctor Strange, I just wish this was the Multiverse of Madness one, but again, that one's like waitlisted, maybe even sold out. And like I said, Shuri Black Panther probably won't be available next week. I could see this one being waitlisted very soon. Thor, potentially, and Vision. So again, there's nothing really here. It's just stuff that's been on Sideshow for a long time, but I wanted to look over this with you guys. The Star Wars is way better. Maybe we'll start talking more about Star Wars. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see something similar to what we're doing here with Star Wars. I definitely have some ideas for that. I just want to stay focused on Road to Doomsday, but I also would love to do another series. So let me know. I have plenty of ideas for that one. So let me know if you'd like to see something similar. It wouldn't be exactly like this, but it'd be something kind of similar, talking about some Star Wars stuff. Let me know if you'd like to see that. But other than that, man, that's what we had today. So we made our decision. We've decided to part ways with the Artisan Edition pre-order of Iron Spider. We will add that NRD once I'm able to get that back to our budget, and we'll put that up on the screen when that happens. And we're pending with God Loki. We've just decided to stay patient right here with God Loki and not make a final decision on this one yet. I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to get rid of it. We're just going to hold right now. And then obviously, if you want, there's definitely some cool free figure offers going on Sideshow right now. Some definite ones that you can take a look at. So let me know in the comments below what you think right there. If I made the right decision. And just kind of let me know. I'd love to talk to you more about it in the comments below. Here's the good news, though. Our next episode of Road to Doomsday is going to be a big one. It's going to be a great one. And I really am going to be hyping it up in the community posts on my Instagram. So definitely be following me over on those things. And maybe even turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode, because the next episode is definitely going to be a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype. There's been a lot of rumors about the Avengers Doomsday trailer. We're going to be discussing a lot of that. And then obviously when we get to the Avengers Doomsday trailer, we're obviously going to be discussing it big time. But this next episode is going to be really big. We're going to be discussing stuff like that. I won't give it all away, but it's going to be a lot of speculation, and there's going to be some purchases being made, and there's going to be some potential selling being done as well. So it's going to be a big episode, and I'm going to hype it up as such. So definitely keep on the Road to Doomsday with me. I really appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate all the viewer feedback and the discussions in the comments. Let's keep it rolling. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.